Hi and welcome to this Blueberry Markets video update with me, John Kibler, head currency analyst. In this video I'm going to take you through the week ahead analysis. We're going to highlight some news that's coming out this week, the strength meter and some charts of interest. So jumping in, we've got quite a lot of high impact news this week, but the ones that we're going to be really focusing on is the US dollar FOMC announcement and statement. Okay, and the press conference, as well as the pound. Okay, they have the rate announcement as well. First of all, we have the US coming up on Wednesday. Now, the Fed have recently talked about, or at least Fed Chairman Jerome Powell has recently talked about a hike of 25 basis points, and that's been reflected in the forecast here. However, recently, CPI figures came out from the US, showed that inflation was increasing further, which could put a bit of pressure on the Federal Reserve to actually hike this a little bit more. So if we actually saw an increase to 0.75% instead, and it was a bit of a shock move by the Federal Reserve, then I think the US dollar could strengthen quite significantly. The talk is all about inflation at the moment and how aggressive the Fed are going to be to try and control the rate at which inflation is increasing. So the fact that their rates are still fairly low is quite interesting to see at the moment. Obviously, they're wanting to get their stimulus out of the way, which will be up in March. So, you know, this rate hike has been coming. It's been talked about for a while. So I do think if it is going up to 0.5%, just 25 basis points, I think some investors would would feel disappointed by that. And we could see a short-term sell-off in the US dollar. If, however, then in the press conference half an hour after, the Fed do say, look, after this one, we decided to become a bit more aggressive, then that could be a positive for the dollar. So it's going to be an interesting day on Wednesday. How is the US dollar going to fare? Thursday, then, the Bank of England are looking to hike interest rates to 0.75%. This is following their plan of wanting to hike 4 times this year. We've already seen 2 rate hikes. We saw one in December, and previously in the previous meeting we saw a jump up as well. So this is in plans for the Bank of England. The pound is actually one of the weakest currencies at the moment. I feel like that's going to continue early in the week. Maybe this announcement of a rate hike could, change that for the pound in the short term towards the end of the week. So the latter stages of this week, we could see a little bit of a bounce in the pound. Moving on then, so the strength meter is quite interesting this week because it reflects kind of the potential for the market to start finding a little bit of a pullback in the market. What I mean by that is the pound has started to move a little bit flat here. So the pound is at a reversal zone. Typically when currencies come into this area on the strength meter and start pushing higher, we start to see that currency reverse. At the moment, still fairly flat. That could last for a couple more weeks, so we can't jump the gun here. But I am going to have a little look at a potential market in a minute, and that market is going to be pound Aussie, because the Australian dollar is starting to show some signs of weakness, despite the fact that the RBA came out and said yes, they were looking to hike rates. Kiwi is one of the strongest and is also in that reversal zone now. We saw Aussie recently in this area and is starting to fall away. Could that happen here for Kiwi as well? So going to have a little look at a Kiwi chart. US dollar is just floating through here at the moment. It's at 0, just behind this CAD line in here. So basically showing us that the dollar is fairly neutral. So moving on from that, what charts can you watch out for this week? Now, we could take a look at Euro, US dollar. Obviously, last week there was quite a significant change in the price action, despite us kind of having an early rally. We've then kind of give those kind of gains back later in the week. What I've actually done is just highlighted the volume profile. I know I've talked about it a few times, but I haven't really highlighted it in any videos. And what I've done is I've just grabbed the screenshot of the weekly volume profile just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm potentially looking at going into this week. Now, price is sat at the point of control of last week. That's basically the most traded area of the week prior. So that could offer a support level in the short term. However, I'm expecting the dollar to probably increase in value in the short term. So price could trade under this and head towards the swing lows here around about 108.59, where I'm kind of looking at this area just through here. So around about the 108.05 9 area is going to be an area of interest for me. If price can get to this area, you know, maybe even bounce from that or break through, that's the area I'm going to be looking to do business with the market. Alternatively, the volume profile shows a level up around about 1.1042 as well. So that could act as a resistance level as well. Moving on to the pound. Pound very bearish at the moment. We can see that very strong bearish candlesticks coming into play here. The next sort of area of support or an area of demand is all the way back down at 127.50s. That could be the next sort of target for pound. However, we do have a bit of a mixed week. Obviously, if the dollar or the Federal Reserve disappoint, we could see price trade back above 130.160. If they don't and they are aggressive, we could see price move to the downside before maybe a short-term bounce at the end of the week. But what I've kind of looked at again is I've just grabbed the volume profiles in here. What we can see is that the 4 hour is trending to the downside. We're making lower lows and lower highs. And there's a couple of important areas I think we should highlight from the volume profile. And one of those is 131.09. That is the most traded level of last week. So if price was to come into that area, we could find some resistance. Alternatively, we have a area around about 131.68. That could also act as resistance. However, you know, if price is breaking above this sort of value area here, we could actually see a bit more of a reversal. So around about the 132 is also going to be pretty key for pound, because if price trades above 132, let's just say we do get that reversal because the strength meter is suggesting that it's in a reversal zone, 132 is going to be pretty crucial for the pound US dollar price. So just to kind of look at the opposite side of what pound could do. So pound is weak, Aussie is one of the strongest. That would usually suggest that we're going to look for further downside in this pound Aussie market. However, looking at the weekly, we've had several strong bearish weeks, especially the couple of weeks prior to last week. And last week we had a fairly low ranging week considering the volume that we've seen recently out of this market. So going to be an interesting one. If Aussie's going to start getting weaker on the strength meter, pound starts to bounce, two currencies could converge towards each other, which could actually offer some bullish trading opportunities. At the moment, price is kind of trading. Again, if we just kind of look at the volume profile of the week, we can see that price is kind of just trading within the range at the moment. And what we did see was a bit of a double top and price break to the downside. So early in the week, if we do see that kind of bearish trend in the pound continue, we could see price retest 179.87 as the point of control of last week, retest it, move to the downside. The key area that I'm going to be watching is 177.38.9, because that is the low here. Is price going to react at this area? Is price going to start to bounce at this point? We have had a bounce sort of most recently, if we're kind of taking the opens and closes down through here, but is price going to break again? Who knows? But if we do start to see that strength converge towards each other, that could be a possibility. Now, again, very similar to pound US dollar, I'll be watching these key swing highs around about the 180.80. If price trades above these highs in here, I think that the reversal could potentially be on for this market. Finally then, the New Zealand US dollar price came up to 68.90. We actually talked about the potential for Kiwi to go short a while ago, but we did blast through the level of interest. It then started to stall, and now it's kind of looking more bearish after breaking out of this sort of area here where we were looking for sellers to come back into the market. We've retested this key supply area at 68.90. Again, volumes showing us that price is just kind of trading within these sorts of areas here. We are trading back at 0.6800. So if price can trade through that area, then we'd have some good opportunities to trade to the downside in the short term, maybe even if we only come back to sort of 0.67. We do have a point of control, which is around about 68.47, which could act as resistance in the short term. So yeah, key levels to watch on Kiwi are definitely going to be the current lows on this 4-hour time frame, around about 67.96 or 67.96, or that 0.68 level, or the kind of area of interest or the point of control is around about 68.47. So a couple of levels to watch there. That's all I've got for you this week. I hope you enjoyed the video analysis. If you did, leave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel to see some more of our Forex trading content, and I'll speak to you in the next video.